Hello, my name's John Parman. I'm one of the international students who's participating in the International Student Experience Experiments. I'm a student in the Cultural Policy, Creative Industry Cultural Policy program in the Performance, Media, and English faculty. And I've actually had a really good day. I went to King's Heath, which is described all sorts of ways. It's right near Moseley, which is called a sort of creative area. There's really a lot of really nice restaurants. You should definitely check it out. It's a part of the city worth looking at and getting around, like actually literally getting off the bus, and lots of great parks right over there. Highbury, where Neville Chamberlain grew up. It's really cool. Anyway, so I was in King's Heath, which is right up the road leaving the city, and great charity shops. They just have all sorts of really good stuff, and this really cool place called International Stock, and it's like loaded with like awesome tweed and like really cool places to get jackets and all sorts of really crazy stuff like bread machines and like musical instruments, all for really good prices. Yeah, check it out, King's Heath. I think it might be the next great student hangout. The Heron House was pretty good, but I did pay £3.35 for a Coors Light, in fact. And that is pretty steep for the Silver Bullet, I gotta tell you. But they seem to have some other bars. They have a Wetherspoons, and then this place called Goose, which is just goes to show like how we have all these names that are like 4 letters and 4 words, and Crown and Cushion, and everything is like this long name. The tennis courts here in Perry Bar, and King's Heath is just Goose. I think it's really funny. Also, I wrote a Christmas letter home, and last night, this is Thursday, December the 16th, I went to the student radio station here at BCU, Scratch FM, and I'm sure everywhere you are they have student radio, and it really kind of varies in format. I did it in college when I was doing my undergraduate degree. I did a show with a faculty member called The Concrete Lounge, and we played his music, which was mainly like tiki, and I introduced like lots of electronic music and like Spearhead, a lot of like kind of like protest funk, it really varies with what you get and what kind of interaction you're willing to have, and how much you're willing to go out to labels and build your audience. It's funny, we have this like whole cohort of faculty members who are very involved with like what labels are doing and kind of found music and artists that are often ignored by the mainstream, but have a tremendous significance to a whole genre of music, like jazz and rock and heavy metal. And I'd love to see some more collaboration between the student radio station and the media faculty. And also, like, I'm surprised there's not a music journalism major or like a cultural journalism major. That would be a really cool thing to do, because there is some really good energy in the cultural area. And so, anyway, I wrote this Christmas letter, and I went to Scratch Radio yesterday, and I read it to them, and I said, what do you think of doing this on the air? And they were just like, you can't slag them, you can't slag them, you can't say anything about religious groups. And I'm like, who's listening? I'd love to build an audience there and really kind of like put everything up to a standard, but the guy doesn't know the rules of radio. He doesn't understand what community radio actually does, and that's a lot of people who are just kind of like, they're just I'm not mad at people who just want to be on the radio. In fact, I really relish those people, especially as great hosts and, you know, very enthusiastic about what they want to do and very ready to learn, and I love that. I'm really into that. And the fact is that those are the people who suck up skills so well that when they're really ready to go out in the world, they do it, and they really do a good job. But that kind of first step, that first show is always like this. They feel like they have to go on tiptoes, you know, and if you don't talk them out of it by showing them what's really possible, they can be very timid over a long term. So this is my Christmas letter, and I just want you to tell me if you think this is too crazy or too like political for student radio. Hi, this may come after Christmas, but convenience be damned. Royal Mail is like living in the 15th century. The postboxes all have crowns on them, and the one on my street says E7R. Nothing surprises me about the bureaucracies here. I have been trying to bring up how Rip Torn drunkenly broke into a bank, and his explanation was that he thought it was his own house. No one is buying it here, along with the moon landings. All we talk about is sports, the stunning lack of people with babysitting experience, and the weather. I have learned that food here is more expensive than in China, but clothes, cosmetics, and luxury brands are cheaper in the UK. All the Chinese students are on every social network they can possibly join online. People will be in class with 15 browser windows open, with the reading and their mobile phone in their laps. The English just look down at their phones all day. They don't even apologize about it. The English love gadgets. In a country of early adoption, it's a country of early adoption, I'm sorry, but God help you if you don't like something they bought. They never complain about battery life, though, because they all have 2 or 3 phones. One of the cultural phenomenons I have witnessed is the long, secretive courtship rituals of South Asian Muslim university students. It takes a huge amount of courage for a Muslim man to approach a woman on his own and state any intention. Usually the contact starts with play fighting on the quad or in the student union. All of the Muslims know each other through mutual friends and their student societies. They then text each other for a few weeks before finally sitting in their car next to each other, climbing into the same car, and then sitting for 2 or 3 hours in the front seat, belts on, eating fast food, talking, and possibly sharing cigarettes. Some are from Birmingham, most having grown up in affluent suburbs. South Asian Irish is one of the most outstanding brogues. So that's a snapshot of Birmingham. Merry Christmas and Happy New Year, John. I just don't see that as being in any way offensive, you know. I think it's a very good snapshot of what the last 2.5 months have been like. I can't even call it 2.5 months. I've been here since October the 5th. So it's really, yeah, maybe about 9 weeks. Yeah, it's kind of too bad that we don't have more of a, like an understanding of like, how to do the jobs that we should try to get after we graduate, you know. I think, you know, student radio, you're of course going to have people who are just there because they want to do radio and they're not looking at it as from a career perspective. And you're going to have people who were involved within it early and, you know, come in with a lot of experience. And those are all wonderful things to have. I don't think that student radio station necessarily needs to be professional. I think, you know, amateurism is sometimes the best way to come across with a culture. But that what is so great is that it's loved, you know? And so I'd really like to build that audience if I could, or, you know, find the people who could and then activate them and then, you know, kind of quality manage from a distance. But I don't think it has to be me. You know, that kind of social strata, you know, would be a really helpful thing, and for lots of societies. So that's what I want to see happen. It's Christmas break here in Birmingham. I'm actually not bored, which is really good. And I hope this was helpful, and I'll talk to you again soon. Thanks.